My next guest hopes we can all find a way to live a little bit better alongside the natural world. Brenda Peterson is the author of Wild Chorus, Finding Harmony with Whales, Wolves, and Other Animals. She's got an author event tonight at Elliott Bay Book Company, but first, she's on our couch here at New Day. Brenda, welcome to the show, and who have you got here?
I have the dog who doesn't love me. Her name is Ella.
Ella?
She is a Siberian Husky.
Well, it doesn't seem like she doesn't love you now.
Well, I have treats in my pocket.
Oh, so is that what she's asking for?
I have bribed her, and Ella, it's okay. Yeah. Aww. So I'm her trophy wife.
Well, let's talk about your book, Wild Chorus. The title to me reminds me of like coyotes howling in the night.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to convey in the title?
Yes. I love the great singers of the natural world. Wolves, whales, birds. They all have a music if we can only listen.
They really do.
Yes.
They really do. As a nature writer, you have grown up with a lot of animals. You actually grew up on a remote High Sierra U.S. Forest lookout station.
Yes.
That must have been incredible.
There were many more animals than people. So I imprinted on animals. In fact, I actually believed that I would grow up to be a wolf, or that I would have antlers, or that I could fly like an eagle, because there were so few people. So I modeled on animals. They taught me everything.
And it really is interesting because animals do teach us a lot. They teach us a lot about, as you can see with these coyotes or wolves, I can't quite tell.
These are wolves at Wolf Haven, which is right down there by Tenino, Washington. It's the International Wolf Sanctuary. And I did a whole book about them called Wolf Haven, and they're in this new book, El Lobo Returns Home.
El Lobo Returns Home.
Because this is a Mexican gray wolf family, and this is actually parents teaching their pups to howl.
Oh, how beautiful. Teaching them how to do it.
Yes.
It's amazing. When you grew up in this Forest Service tower and you kind of came into the world as you got older, did you start to see how things like climate change and society and encroaching on natural places is really affecting the animals?
Yes. In my birthplace, it was in the High Sierra called Quincy, California. There were no wolves, but there were coyotes. Yip, yip, yip.
Yep.
Now there are wolves. There are a few wolf packs there.
Oh, are there?
And they are thriving if we can keep from shooting them.
Right, right.
But climate change, there were many, many, many old growth forests. But now they've fallen. In my lifetime, they've fallen.
Yeah.
And I worry about the next generations and what they will experience.
Well, we have here in the Seattle area seen an increasing number of coyotes. People had never seen them. And I grew up with coyotes, also from California, but it is very scary to people because they, and I think that it's important that we teach people about how to handle these animals that are encroaching in urban areas, don't you think?
Well, urban wildlife are our neighbors, If we can think of them not as vermin or pests, but fellow creatures who have survival strategies. There are things that animals teach us that humans cannot.
Right.
And so why not learn from these masters of their own ecosystems?
Right. You've also worked with Jane Goodall, I understand,
Yes.
Someone who dedicated her life to preserving species of gorilla. As more women enter the wildlife conservation sector,
Yes.
you say female animals also play a vital role in assuring the survival of next generations.
Happy birthday, Jane. She's 90 today.
You know, I met Jane Goodall on her birthday about 10 years ago.
Really?
No, I know. Random. I met the day went to interview her down in California. She came and gave her a birthday cake.
She's wonderful.
She really is.
And she has been a matriarch, like animal matriarchs. There are orcas that we have here in our waters. Granny was 105 or 80, depending upon the scientist. And these orca matriarchs, they make sure that their sons, who live with them all their lives, survive. They call them mummy's boys because the grandmothers actually feed them. The scientists are calling this the grandmother effect.
Really?
So all you grandmothers out there, we desperately need you for our own survival.
We really do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. You also say that it isn't enough just to save other species. Our greatest survival skill is our imaginations, like you mentioned as a young child, to become other species.
Yes.
Okay, kind of tell us what you mean by that and how we can do it in our own lives who didn't grow up in a place like you did.
Right. So instead of just conquering or saving, which are two sides of the same environmental, you can actually imagine the life of an animal. Kids, when I go and I work with them, I always say, adopt an animal, learn everything you can about that animal, dolphin, wolf, coyote, and then apprentice yourself to that animal as a conservationist.
Right.
And if you do that from childhood or even adulthood, you will learn so much about your own survival.
You have a chapter in this book called Singing with Animals.
Yes.
I remember being young and hearing the coyotes, and I would howl back. And
Yes.
in my mind, I would think they were answering me. Is that true?
Yes, there's
They
call
do?
and response. There's a chapter in here called wolf music. And, you know, when you start singing, very few wild animals will actually respond to us as singers. But wolves do, and sometimes birds do, and whales do. So if you are singing and you're howling, a wolf, if they go on your same pitch, will vary and harmonize with you. So you are not on the same pitch, you are harmonizing together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's like social glue, like singing around the campfire.
That is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
There are so many great and cool things about this book, especially a chapter called Humpback Hip Hop, Speaking in Song. And if you want to know more about that, well, you're going to have to go to Brenda's author event tonight, Wednesday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Elliott Bay Book Company on Seattle's Capitol Hill.